going to be my 3x3 beginner's method tutorial. So, yeah, first we're going to go over notation, and then we're going to go over getting the first side. That is probably going to be all for this video, because I'm going to split it into probably 3 parts. So, the first is going to be notation and getting to know a cube. So when I say corner piece, you know what I'm talking about. When I say RUD, you know that I'm talking RUD. So yeah, I'm going to go over that first, and then, that'll be part 1, pretty much. So, part 1 here, I'm going to teach you, basic for 3x3. So this is a beginner's method, and I'm trying to make this as friendly for beginners as possible, so you guys will feel a lot less confused when starting cubing. So, if you have friends or something who cube, and you don't, and when I say cube, I mean they do Rubik's Cubes, and then speed cubing would be doing it as fast as you can. So, yeah, first we're going to go over the pieces on the cube. So, the main pieces are the center pieces. So, there's 6 of them because there's 6 sides. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, there's the color scheme, which means that which way the colors are in. So that means there's red, and opposite from red is orange, opposite from white is yellow, and opposite from blue is green. So it's always going to be that way when it is solved, and the centers will always be that way. So if I mix up this cube, here, let me fix the camera a little bit. Okay, so if I mix up this cube, I'm just changing the camera a little bit. Okay, so if I mix up this cube, there is still red and oranges on the back. There's still white and yellows on the back, and still green and blue. No matter what you do, these centers do not move. You can do this, but there's still red and blue and white. You can do it again. It's still red, blue, and white. You can do this. It's still red, blue, and white. Or red, blue, and white, sorry. So yeah, no matter what you do, that stays together. The centers don't move. So, the next thing to learn is the edges. So this is the 2-sided pieces that are in between each corner. So these are the corners, these are the edges. The edges are touching the centers, and these do move. So yeah, as you can see here, there are 4 edges. So there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 edge pieces on the cube. And then the next thing to learn is corners. So these corners have 3 sides to them, and are these pieces. So they're the corners of everything. Yeah, that's basically all there is to cover. And the next is notation. So when I say notation, it means which side to turn, pretty much. So if I say to do R, that means you turn the right side like that. And it's always clockwise. So there's R, R prime, U, U prime, and I'll cover all the letters as we go. But when I say U prime, that means counterclockwise. So if it's just U, U means clockwise, U prime is counterclockwise. So if we apply that to the cube, U means the up face, or the top. So U means turn this side clockwise, because it wasn't U prime, it's U. So U means turn it clockwise. So you're not going to go ahead, don't turn the cube and then do U, because that'll mess you up. What you want is to hold this side on top, or whatever side I say to hold on top, up there, and then do U. So U is that direction, and then U prime is that direction. And then there's R, which is the right side, so U, R, so R, that direction, and then R prime is that direction. And then there's F, so F means front, and it's this side. So F would be that direction, and then F prime is that direction. And then there's L, which is the opposite of R. So R is this direction, which means that L is that direction. So L prime is that direction, but L is that direction because clockwise, you turn it clockwise. Then there's D, which is the down face or bottom, but don't think B, think D, because B is back here. So D face, down face, means that way. So clockwise. And then counterclockwise, or D prime, is that direction. And then the last one is B, the back face, right here. So B is that direction, so that direction, or B prime is that direction, so that direction. Okay, so that is all of the sides. If you need to, go ahead. So yeah, I'm going to suggest this for the whole tutorial, like every tutorial I do. Pull out a piece of paper, and as I go through, be doing it to your cube, have a piece of paper, a pencil, or a pen, and just go ahead and write it down. So make note of it, so if when you're learning, you can keep that paper with you, and then whenever you need it, you can pull it out. So do take notes. It'll be way helpful, trust me. It's how I learn all of my cubes. So yeah, on your paper, write down each, like U equals up face, R equals right face, L equals left face, D equals down face, and etc. Go through everything. If you need to, rerun the video. Otherwise, yeah, so just go through and write those down. And then, so yeah, that's notation. The other thing to know is if there's a 2 letter. So if I say U2, that means up twice. So you go 1, 2. And it doesn't matter if you do it clockwise or counterclockwise, you end up on the same direction. And then there will be the occasional M2. And M2 just means that direction. So the M2 is twice in that direction. So you take the middle and move it twice. I'm not ever going to say to do M once, because that gets confusing, and I want to try and keep it simple for you guys. So yeah, do write those down. That's your notation. And then there's going to be algorithms where I say go R, U, R prime, U prime. So write that down and write down what it does so you know what that does. So if you're following on, go ahead and take your cube, scramble it. And when I say scramble, I mean mix it up, like just make all the colors everywhere. Doesn't really matter. And then if so basically, most beginners will pick one side to do the beginning step on, and the most common side people pick is white. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So the first step is to make a white plus sign on here. When I say that, I don't mean this. I don't mean this, where these, because this is one piece. This isn't a piece. This is a piece. So these also need to be lined up, like that one. So that isn't, but that is. So when I say cross, I mean this, where there's the plus sign and it's lined up. Okay? So this is one of the easiest steps, probably. And I know if you've messed with the cube before, one thing a lot of people like to do with the cube is make one side. So if you can make one side, you can definitely do the cross. So if you can do this, you can do the cross. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the white cross. So there are 2 ways to do this. I'm going to be teaching the easier way, but less time effective. So it takes more time, but it's a lot easier to learn. So what you want is to put white on bottom and yellow on top. It doesn't matter what side you have as long as it's that direction. Now what you're going to make is the opposite of the cross, a daisy. So the daisy looks like this. Where is the piece? There it is. So it looks like that. See how it's a daisy? And then we can just go ahead and get rid of that corner so you guys, it's more friendly for you guys. But, so there's a daisy. So how do you make the daisy is by simply having white on bottom, yellow on top. You already have I already have two pieces in there, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those so you guys can follow along. So I just simply want to be looking for a piece, and not a corner piece, an edge piece with white on it. For example, this. So I go ahead and I turn it to the yellow. So I want it to line up with the yellow, right? White and then yellow. So if it's right here, you can go ahead and turn it up. There's the other case where it, it's right, sorry, I keep accidentally putting one up. So there was one. The second one is where it's on this side, and all I have to do is that. So it was either here or here, so just go ahead and turn it to the top. There's another case where you have it down here. When you have that, you have to just turn it twice to add it to the top. And then there's another, this one's a little bit more difficult, where you have it flipped, like this piece needs to go here. So when you have that, go ahead and turn it down, and then turn the top side. And now it's like from earlier, we can just move it up. So again, you have it down here, or up here, where it shouldn't be. You can move it, and now it's in these layers. You can move it, and like that. So yeah, that basically should be it. If you have it like this, and you can't turn it up, just go ahead and turn the top. And the reverse of that is this, where you can't really move it up. You just have to turn the top. So it mostly requires you just turning the top and turning one of the sides. So once you have a daisy on the top, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that piece. So there you go, you have the daisy, and you don't need to be getting rid of pieces like I'm saying, that's just to make it so you guys can understand better. So what you want to do is we're going to go ahead and look for we have one of these pieces, and we're going to turn the top until one of them lines up. So this one has white and then orange, so we're going to turn it, so let's pretend it's here. You're going to turn the top until it lines up with the orange. And once it lines up with the orange, you're going to go ahead and do an F2, so the front twice. And then it's going to be lined up in the cross and for the edge. Now we're going to pick another one, so this one. We're going to go ahead and turn the top until it lines up again. So once it's lined up, you do an F2 to put it in. And now, here's another piece. I'm going to go ahead and turn the top until it lines up. Do another F2 to put it in. And then we have one piece left up here on the daisy, which is no longer a daisy. And then we go ahead and turn the top until it lines up. And turn it down. So that is basically the cross. That is the cross. So you have each piece lined up with the centers. So each edge is lined up with the center around the whole cube. So now the next thing is to get the corners like this. And then it's going to go ahead and it's going to also do all of that. So I'm putting it in a spot. Okay, so you have this, you can have extra corners attached, that doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and put white down and yellow on top. It doesn't matter which one you have here. So you're going to turn the top until you find a white corner piece. So make sure you have the white cross on the bottom, or whatever you did for your cross color, on the bottom, so you don't mess it up. Because if it isn't on the bottom, you will mess it up. See, it can get messed up. So put it on the bottom, and then you have your corner piece. So now we're going to look at the colors. The colors on this corner piece is white, red, and green. So what we want to do with that is put it where it belongs. So we're going to look at each corner piece. So I'm going to call these slots, so they go into the slot. So this slot has 3 colors, and we can tell by looking at the centers. The centers is white, orange, and green. So this one has white and green, like these two, but it doesn't have orange. That means it doesn't go here. So we can turn it again. This one's white, red, green, right? And then there's white, orange, blue. So that means it doesn't go there. This one's white, red, green. So there's white, red, but then blue, so it doesn't go there. Turn it one more time. White, red, green, white, red, green. So that means it goes here. And then there's going to be one algorithm here. You're going to want to write this down on your paper. And it's very simple. It's 4 moves. It's R, U, R prime, U. So you're thinking, hey, they didn't put it in. It might have for you, but most likely it didn't. So if it didn't do that, just repeat it. So it's still here. Make sure you didn't turn the cube at all. Let's do it again. R, U, R prime, U prime. 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 Until it puts it in. So you're going to have to be watching to make sure it goes in. And once it does, it'll look like that. And then your next step is to, sorry, one sec. Okay. Yeah, so your next step is to find another white piece. So there's that one. So we're going to go ahead and look where it goes. So white, green, orange, white, green, orange. So it's already where it needs to be. You're going to hold it in the right side and then apply that algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime. 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 Till it goes in. And there's another one. So this one goes here. R, U, R prime, U prime. R, U, R prime, U prime. R, U, R prime, U prime. I'm not going to say it anymore. There you go. It's in. So now we're going to go ahead and look for the next white piece. So it doesn't seem to be on the top. So these two are yellow, and those two are yellow. So we have to look for the white piece on the bottom then. And there it is. So it could be on any of them. And this can happen even when you don't have any of these in. So this could or couldn't happen to you. It sometimes does, it sometimes doesn't. You could maybe have it where there aren't any up here, and there aren't any solved down here. So they're all down here, but turned like that. So it might be tempting to just take and twist the corner, but that messes up. Don't twist corners. It will mess you up later in the solve. It's the same thing. All you have to do is put it in the right side, the corner piece, on your right hand side, whether it's in the top or bottom, and just go R, U, R prime, U prime, over and over again, and it will put the piece in. So as long as it's in your right hand side, and you did that with yellow on top and white on bottom, you will now have this. So, that is basically how to solve the first 2 steps of a 3x3 Rubik's Cube. So yeah, stay tuned for the next video, which will be showing you guys how to, sorry, one sec, getting there. So I'll show you how to get to this point, and then it'll also take you to solve there, so you will be really, really close to done. Okay, so yeah, that is the tutorial on how to get the first layer on a 3x3.